a natural defense of something that's become very precious for you. It's like this little twig that's growing out of the ground. Anybody wants to step on it has to be pushed away first, before you can start to show them that it's actually better not to step on the grass or whatever. You have to be very clear as to where the boundaries are, and that you'll fight them if they cross them. Yeah.
So in that way, okay, then it would be less about you
Convincing
projecting
others.
out into the world what you need or what should be, and more about not denying what's also important for you.
Yeah, well, that would be ideally the case, but possibly because people are, after 2 days, you cannot be affluent in dealing with the consequences of what you've now discovered. The discovery itself was the issue, and not how to deal with it in the social environment. So I can imagine that people will, if they come into an argument, and people that are close by, close to them, will inquire a little bit more, and then you'll find yourself trying to defend the concepts that for you explain what you've just experienced. But since it's not about the words but about the experience, and you do not have a mutual agreement with the other people that weren't in the training about that, it's about the experience and reflecting on that in yourself, that people will jump on the words, and then you'll find yourself defending the meaning through words, and that's going to become something that looks
what I found as you speak, what I found which was, at least in my case, different, was that the interactions, as opposed to the words trying to explain what happened, but just the interactions themselves changed, only because I was more conscious of what I was engaging in with the
where
other.
it came from.
And so in that sense, I noticed that the context, the people who had expectations of me, of course, were confused because they saw a different interaction. But
so you decided not to discuss, or not to.
No, at the initial, it was very much holding on to the twig.
But you do that through discussing as well.
Yeah.
And that, I would say, is sort of convincing.
Yeah, and that didn't work for me. That didn't work for me.
But you discovered that it didn't work.
Yeah.
But initially you started.
Yeah, and
you thought that the words could actually prove your point, which your words can't.
Exactly.
Your words can only drive the point home, but that will mean more conflict, more.
And then taking from there, which would be the follow up, was that the process that I was aware of in myself then allowed it to continually improve the contact, because I was then aware of that.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily true. Also, that depends on the other person and the position you're in, and the dependency they have on you, and etc. etc.
Yeah, not in all cases.
But we've learned a lot, because that's been 6 years ago now, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and at that time there was part of what we were doing was still a conviction that we were right.
Yeah.
And that changed.
Yeah.
I think so. Nowadays we pay far more attention to the consequences of what realization means for your social environment, and how you can deal with that in a way that it doesn't become a problem, but an opportunity. But I once had this illness, and we couldn't discover what it was, and although I had no reason to think that it could be something like AIDS, I just thought, hey, I don't know what it is, so maybe it's AIDS. And then the doctor said, okay, we could test on that, but I have a question. Should we discover that it is AIDS? Do you want to know? And for me that was like the weirdest question, because of course if I'm trying to find out what's wrong with me, then I want to know, but it seems that that's not the way that people go about it necessarily. It could very well be that there's people that don't want to know they have AIDS. Yeah, so in this case, if you're somebody that considering, hey, if I had AIDS, would I want to know it, says no to that question, then possibly this would not be the the training for you, because you are gonna pursue all those things, and not AIDS necessarily, but all the things that you're afraid of, you're going to be pursuing, because you'd rather know whether you have AIDS than not know whether you don't, or whether you do. So if you are the problem in a relationship, that's where you start, finding out whether that might be the case, and that starting point itself resolves, I would say, 80% of all the issues that you could be having in the first place, but. Yeah, you need to find the strength and the willingness in yourself to address these issues and suffer the consequences. So.
Yeah.
And if you want to go there, then all we can say is welcome to the world. But not something that anybody else can decide for you.